And brace yourself. The second round of this large snowstorm is bearing down on us. The snow will stick with us through tomorrow, adding to the snow that we woke up with already today. We do have team coverage for you on this weather worn day. We'll have a check of the roads to show you how the conditions have deteriorated. A live report from the airport where there have been hundreds of cancellations. Plus our Sammy Solina, who is in Owatonna, riding along with the National Guard as they work to rescue those who might become stranded. And what everyone wants to know is just how much snow we can really expect as this system moves through.
For answers, let's get straight to Belle in the blustery backyard. Hey, Belle.
It is blowing back here, Julie and Rena, that's for sure. And of course, the roads, depending on where you are getting a bit dicey. We'll go to Loup Goose in just a few moments. But with, of course, the snow coming down in some pretty heavy bands across the metro, and along with that, the winds really picking up, it is going to be a very active evening. You can see that we have a lot of moisture coming up from the Gulf, and that is rotating around this big low pressure center that is in southern Iowa. And with that, the snow has been falling since about 2 o'clock this afternoon. At times, the banding is becoming very, very heavy, and the visibility, as you can see right here in the backyard, is being lowered. That's for sure. Now, the bands will continue into the overnight hours and also into the morning hours, and then it looks as though it does wrap up at that point in time. And the accumulations are, as expected, to be between 8 to 12 inches from this second wave of snow. This morning, the amounts, we have a big list for you, we'll show you in just a few minutes, were really between 2 to about 6 inches across the metro. So we zoom in, you can see where we have these heavier bands, and that's where the visibility is really dropping. So here it is, a mile or less, basically in most of southern Minnesota. Right now, about half a mile in Eden Prairie with the heavy snow, as you can see there, 1.3 in Lakeville and just over 1 in Crystal. Northern metros having better visibility. So as we take a look at the planner for tonight, you can see the temperatures start to plummet and we get down into the teens, and the snow just continues. So when I'm talking roads, you got to go to Lou Ragoose. He's in Mobile 11 for us this evening. Hi, Lou.
Hi there. Yeah, we're live in Mobile 11, and right now we are just starting to head west on 494 in the southeast part of the metro. Give you a look at the roads. Overall, I mean, the main thing I have to say is that there are very few cars out here driving right now compared to a normal evening commute, so that much is good. And also, the road conditions are not that bad considering. Where do you run into trouble? We've noticed as you change lanes, you can see the tracks on the road where the road has been treated. A little bit slippery when you change lanes. There was one accident that we noticed at 694, right where it meets 94. There was a semi that was tying up the ramps, and there was another car that had spun out. Overall today, there have been 34 crashes reported by the State Patrol. Thankfully, none of them too serious. Be careful out there on the roads, and we'll check back at 6 o'clock. Right now, we'll head to Chris Harapsky, who's with us at the live desk. Hi, Chris.
Hey, Lou. Thank you, sir. Yeah, so there's not a ton of crashes right now in the Twin Cities. We saw more yesterday, frankly, than we are right now. But that's because a lot of that second round storm hasn't hit yet. Look down here in the southwest part of the state. I-90 is closed from Worthington all the way to Sioux Falls. And then these dotted lines right here in the south central part of the state by Mankato, St. James, you're talking about 1/10 of a mile of visibility there. So the conditions are worsening as the system continues to move east towards the Twin Cities and towards Rochester. I want to show you some video, though, from earlier today, and this is important. This is a 4-car crash that happened near Apple Valley on Highway 77. One of the drivers was standing by the driver's side door of the first car when the other 2 vehicles struck from behind. Now, we stopped the video right before that collision. A 4th car then hit it as well, and that was an ugly crash. Here's another example, though, of somebody standing outside after a crash. This is on 494 this afternoon. The driver gets out of the car to check on the other car. It's a nice gesture, but it is really, really dangerous to do that, as there are cars whipping by you at 30, 40, 50, 60 miles an hour. So please, please, if you get in a spin-out or a crash, stay in your car, keep your buckle on, and call first responders until they arrive and they can handle traffic. It is not safe.
Yeah, especially as visibility gets lower and lower throughout the evening. Thank you, Chris.
Yeah.
Well, the storm also wreaked havoc with travel at MSP today, with almost 400 flights canceled. Devon Raming is there tonight with an update. Devon?
Hey, Julie, the number of cancellations and delays here at MSP continue to stack up. As you mentioned, nearly 400 flights canceled and nearly a dozen delayed. Now, to put things into perspective for you, airport leaders say that's more than 50% of the operations that occur during a typical day here at MSP. Passengers we've spoken with are being issued travel waivers for canceled flights. MSP has a crew of more than 100 people, they say, working nonstop to keep the runways clear in hopes of keeping flights moving. But of course, this is all weather permitting. Now, if you or someone you know has plans to fly out of or into MSP today, you'll want to keep an eye on the airport website, as airport officials are expecting travel impacts for the remainder of the evening. And it's also important to note that if you do have a flight that's canceled, check directly with your airline, because a lot of airlines are issuing those flight travel waivers. Guys, back to you.
It looks pretty quiet there in the Terminal 1. Thanks, Devon.